Welcome to Let's Talk About It. Here we go! Holy crap!
Looks like you already have.
I need guns. Hello guys, and welcome to a brand new episode of Let's Talk About It. Yes, we are finally back with this series. Been gonna pumping up a lot more content now, a lot more content. And we got some exciting rumors to talk about today. It's a lot of exciting rumors, very much in the X-Men range, if you know what I mean. I just saw Companion as well. The full movie review is coming out today. The out-of-theater review is up right now, so go check that out if you want to. Go check out all our other episodes of Let's Talk About It. And, please also make sure you press that subscribe button, because you'll be updated to when all these episodes come out, and up to date, with reactions, reviews, and all the other things we do on our channel. And for all that out of the way, guys, let's move on to our first topic here today. And that is this. We got a Batman Brave and the Bold movie coming. There's been a lot of talk about, Andy Muschietti, saying he doesn't really know when the movie's starting. But one of the exciting things that we were really excited to hear about this film was that we would be getting a Damian Wayne Robin. And that kind of set up the precipice that, we're already going to have a Bat family established. Well, according to a new rumor, that Teen Titans movie might be a little bit of a different Teen Titans than you might imagine. According to a new rumor, DC Studios' Teen Titans movie will feature this hero as Robin in place of Dick Grayson. Now, if you know kind of what the Teen Titans are, or the Titans, who they've kind of been called like recently in the comics, kind of like the grown-up versions, the Teen Titans, the core members of the team have always been Robin, Starfire, Cyborg, Beast Boy, and Raven. Those have been the five mainstay members in the Titans. Sure, they've had alterations, with characters like Aqualad, Supergirl, the Red Hood. Did I say Kid Flash? Yeah, Kid Flash in there. A bunch of other derivatives of other heroes, kind of like a sidekick team. I'm a fan of the Titans comics. I'm a big fan of Dick Grayson. I cannot wait to see him brought into live action. Can't wait to see who they gotta get them. My vote is Dylan O'Brien for Nightwing. But we've all been wondering, since we've all got all these other Robins running around, is Dick Grayson going to be the main Robin? Well, according to a new rumor, it's not. It's actually going to be Damian Wayne who recruits these characters. And this is what it says. This was posted on Production Weekly, which that's kind of a site that gives insight into when productions are starting to shoot. And this is what it said. The Teen Titans are further apart than ever before until Damian Wayne recruits Starfire, Raven, Beast Boy, and a new Kid Flash to join him in a fight against his own grandfather, Ra's al Ghul. Now, there's some good things in this, and a little bit of bad. The good thing for me is that, it's gonna be a roster of characters that we have not really seen before. We've never really seen, if you kind of discount the Titans TV show, we've never really seen, proper origins for Starfire, Raven, Beast Boy. And what also excites me about this as well, Kid Flash. I am a big Wally West lover. Now, it says a new Kid Flash. So this is all rumor, by the way. This is all rumor. So if they are saying this, that we're going to have a new Kid Flash. In times in the comics, there have been many versions of Kid Flash. There was a time in the comics where there was there's the Rebirth Wally West, which is the Wally West in the red. Then there's also another Wally West who is kind of Iris West's cousin. Kind of the version we see in the Flash TV show. There's that version. Then there's also characters like Impulse, who is Bart Allen, who we know is the who's kind of the grandson of Barry Allen. But also interesting here is that Damian Wayne recruits it. Now, what I can see them going is that they go from Batman Brave and the Bold to set up kind of like a Damian Wayne solo project. The question is really, can Damian Wayne hit? Now, this is all subject to rumor right now, guys. So take this all with a grain of salt. Don't have me say like, oh, he's confirming that this is the Teen Titans roster. No, this is not the roster for the Titans, And I really hope they don't call the movie Teen Titans. I'm going to say, yes, Teen Titans, because when you say Teen Titans, in my opinion, you kind of like remind me of like kind of a silly, fun group. I want them to be called Titans. Maybe that's a derivative of like kind of the TV show because that you associate with that. Which there were goods and there were mostly bads about that Titans TV show. It was very a CW show. Now for the rumor that hey, it's going to be going up against Ra's al Ghul, I would honestly prefer that the Titans go up against Deathstroke. Now I say Deathstroke because we know that Deathstroke like Bane movie is coming, which could be very, very interesting. Deathstroke is like one of the mainstay villains in the Titans universe. If you go back to that original Teen Titans series, look at stories in the Titans comics like the Judas Contract, Deathstroke is very much a mainstay Teen Titans villain. Well, he's also gone against many others, but for me, Deathstroke has always been kind of like a villain for the Titans, and that's like kind of where I kind of want to see like him. Now, them going against Ra's al Ghul, it kind of seems like they're going like kind of, there's going to be like a Damian Wayne origin like film, going back like Damian Wayne's like, Batman's not going to be stopping, well, I got to assemble my team to go take on Ra's al Ghul, maybe that's what's going on. But another thing we noticed about the roster, Cyborg, again, Cyborg is not part of this roster, which I think is a huge misstep. Now, in the comics recently, Cyborg has been part of the Titans. He's also really shifted him over to the Justice League. I don't really like Cyborg in the Justice League. I feel like Cyborg fits way better into the Titans because the Titans, are a group of outcasts, to be quite honest. Look at Beast Boy, outcast. He's got green skin, he's lost all his family. Raven, outcast, has a demon father. Starfire, outcast from her people. Even Dick Grayson or even Damian Wayne times are outcasts because, and Kid Flash, outcast as well. It's a group of outcasts. I think Cyborg fits more into that bubble, but this is all according to rumor. None of this is actually true. But what do you guys think about this? The Titans, we kind of get a little confirmation on the Titans lineup, but we also kind of get a look to that the Titans were actually led by Damian Wayne instead of Dick Grayson. Leave a comment down below, like, comment, subscribe, and let's move on to the next rumor here today. Now, let's talk about another rumor here today, and that is this. Black Panther 3. We are very much excited for this film, because it is the final movie in the Black Panther trilogy. Black Panther 1, I think, might be regarded and go down as one of the best comic book movies of all time, nominated for an Oscar for Best Picture. Black Panther 2 was a bit of a step down in my opinion, but I didn't think it was like the worst movie ever made. And of course, Black Panther 3, very excited, with the news that Denzel Washington is being written a role for this movie. The one of the best actors in the world, Denzel Washington, being in a Marvel movie, sign me up. And also, the rumors that we are going to have a new T'Challa. Maybe he comes from a multiverse. Maybe in Secret Wars, all these multiverses collide together, kind of like in DC's Crisis on Infinite Earths. And now we have a new Black Panther. But we're now getting word that we actually might know who the villain is for this Black Panther 3. According to a rumor from thecomicmovie.com, Black Panther 3's villain has been revealed, also reportedly set to make MCU return. So in here, you guys want to know who this villain is. So, we're going to go down this article, and I'm going to tell you who this villain is. Because it's a very interesting villain. According to My Time to Shine, who is, he's kind of reliable, a character named Akib will be the antagonist. Now, if that doesn't sound familiar for you, don't worry. I don't even know who that is. Probably half the comic book population who aren't like super comic people don't even know who that is. But it explained that he is the Joker to Black Panther's Batman. Now, what this means is we could be getting, a very, very cool thing here. We've had the thing with Black Panther is we've always had, it's always been views against views. T'Challa has has a different view on what his father believes, of what Killmonger believes. And then Black Panther 2 was all about loss. We got the third Black Panther movie coming. We still really don't know the plot of it, but this unknown character that I never heard of, Akib, where they say it's basically the Joker. That could be really, really interesting, kind of setting up like this character where, when I think of the Joker, I always go back to that Michael Caine speech where he's telling Bruce, some men don't have motives. Some men just want to watch the world burn, which I think is one of the greatest comic book like moments to describe the Joker in all of comic book history. It's one of the best lines too. Some men just want to watch the world burn. Like, that explains Joker to a key, and we're getting that in a Black Panther. I think that fits really well because, in my defense, I think Black Panther and Batman have many similarities, not just because they just wear black costumes, but just because of their power sets and their motivations. Both of them just want to protect the place that they come from, if it's Gotham or Wakanda. But this is interesting. I think it's interesting. Now, the question is, that I've also been wondering, if we are bringing in a new T'Challa, where does that put Shuri? It could be a possibility, guys, that Shuri will die in Doomsday or Secret Wars. That's a huge possibility because, we've all got this word they're bringing in a new Black Panther. I think what's going to happen is that Shuri is going to sacrifice herself to save this T'Challa. I think we're going to see this T'Challa in Secret Wars. I think we're going to see a version of Black Panther in Secret Wars because in the Secret Wars comics, the new 2015 one, Black Panther has a major role in that story, and he wields the Infinity Gauntlet, and he's a total freaking badass in that comic. So I think it's possible that we are setting up for Shuri to die in Doomsday or Secret Wars permanently, and then she does it to save T'Challa, because we all know the whole thing, how much she was hurting in Black Panther, even at the end of Black Panther, that her brother was dead. And I think she would sacrifice anything to get him back. Being reunited with a family member, and maybe T'Challa is close to death and Shuri has to sacrifice everything to save her brother. But what do you guys think about this? A new Black Panther 3 villain being set up to be kind of the MCU Joker in a way to Black Panther. And what do you think about the thoughts of Shuri? My theory of Shuri maybe dying in these next two Avengers movies. Leave your comments down below, and let's move on to our next topics here. Now, this is going to be the first of kind of two major X-Men rumor castings. Now, these past few weeks, the rumor mill for X-Men has been just here and there. We got rumors, that, we got Storm's casting. Wolverine's casting. Everyone is, because we feel like we're getting just closer and closer to X-Men. X-Men feels like more of a possibility, especially with Captain America Brave New World being mostly, related to mutants. Because I think that the one thing they're hiding from the movie is that we're going to have, mutants showing up in that film, which I don't know how that really fits in, but I think that could be a way, that the leader fits in the story. You set up these people with extraordinary powers, and the leader gets interested and uses them to create new Hulk serums or whatever. Who knows? Very excited for that movie. But that doesn't mean that we don't have the rumor mill swirling with all these casting rumors. And this is the kind of the first one we're going to talk about. Now, this is being reported kind of from a, unknown source. We don't know if it's confirmed. I'm not, just take this with a grain of salt. So this is what the article says. Marvel Studios reportedly eyes Hunter Schafer for a popular X-Men character. Now, I am actually a big fan of Hunter Schafer. I think the things I've seen with her in Euphoria have been great, but I really liked her in that Hunger Games movie. I think she was one of the bright spots. Sure, she didn't have a lot to do, but she left an impression on me. And, she's done some other things, that haven't, been totally talked about. She's done some small movies. But, since, every other female person in Euphoria is jumping over the Marvel, if that's Sydney Sweeney, Zendaya, even, Storm Reid was in a superhero movie, that's Suicide Squad. I've wanted to see Hunter Schafer take that next step. And according to this rumor, that she is being eyed to play none other than Mystique. And I think this is actually a perfect casting. I think if this is true, this would be perfect. Because, the thing with Mystique is, really you don't have to have an actor in there because Mystique can be anyone. And, they kind of made it, what I really hate about, the X-Men retooling / reboots, with James McAvoy and Jennifer Lawrence, is that Mystique was always Jennifer Lawrence. She could turn to anyone. She's like, oh, she's going to be Jennifer Lawrence one time. And they changed it where she's like, oh, she's going to be a part of the X-Men. In, no comics or anything I've ever read was Mystique ever, a leader in the X-Men. Mystique, to me, is kind of, the ultimate sidekick to Magneto, She, in my opinion, is, a leader of the Brotherhood of Mutants. But, I felt like, they kind of turned her into, an anti-hero, which there was a lot of that going on at that time in the superhero genre. I would love to see Mystique, of course. That's badass. I felt like Jennifer Lawrence's Mystique wasn't really badass. I'm going to be honest, guys. I don't think it was badass. I didn't particularly love, whenever she was in the movie. Sure, she died in those movies, but, it was really oh, yay, she's finally dead. We don't have to hear her complain and bitch anymore. I wasn't a fan of Mystique in those last few X-Men movies. I really loved the Rebecca Romijn Mystique because there was always this, kind of mysterious vibe to that Mystique where it's you don't really know who she is. You don't really know her origin. She's just this shapeshifter who can, shapeshift into anyone. And, she's very acrobatic as well. That was a Mystique I thought was really, really interesting. I really hope they go kind of, that way where it's we don't need to do a whole origin story for Mystique. Why don't we just have this, mysterious character who's doing these things for Magneto, who's, doing all this espionage, who's trying to set the world so they can start a war with the humans, that would be interesting to see. And I think Hunter Schafer, would be a really great choice to play this character. But what do you guys think about this? Hunter Schafer is being eyed to play Mystique, according to a rumor, in the new MCU X-Men universe. Leave comments down below, and let's move on to our final topic here today. Now, like I said, that is not the only X-Men rumored casting we're hearing about, because we got a brand new one. Cyclops, who, to me, is the de facto leader of the X-Men. Yes, he is the leader of the X-Men. No matter what you say, you're but Wolverine led him in the movies. No, Wolverine is not a leader. Cyclops is basically the Captain America to the X-Men. He is the leader. He is the motivational guy who's going to lead these people into battle. And I've been very excited to see Scott Summers finally brought accurately into live action, not just being the sidekick to Wolverine and not being hey, Mr. Steal Your Girl. That's what I kind of felt like he became in those 20th Century Fox movies, And I thought with the reboot with Ty Sheridan playing that character, that he would finally take the leader role. But he really was not the leader. He was just replaced by Beast and Magneto. So I really hope they make him the de facto leader in this X-Men universe. But we got some rumored casting, guys, here. According to a new report, X-Men Harris Dickinson rumored to be up for the role of Cyclops in MCU Reboot. Now, Harris Dickinson, this guy is a tremendous actor. I believe I first saw him in that Kingsman movie. He was in that kind of the Kingsman movie, kind of the prequel to the Kingsman. And then the one thing that really, really thought he was really great in was Triangle of Sadness. That was a great performance by him. And that's a movie, if you have not seen Triangle of Sadness, go check that out. That's such a great film. And of course, he was also in the Iron Claw, which, oh my god, if you want to cry your heart out, go watch Iron Claw. It will break your heart in so many ways. And then, of course, he was just in Baby Girl with Nicole Kidman, Miss AMC, right there. But this is, of course, according to Jeff Snyder, which Jeff Snyder is one of the most reliable, I think, scoopers out there. He in his Hot Mic episode basically said Harrison Dickinson is being looked at to play Cyclops. Do I think this is a good choice? Yes, I think it is. Now, there's also been rumors of Jake Champion, which you don't know who that is. Basically, a spider from Avatar: Way of Water. I was going to do a story on that, I was going to do both of those stories, but I'm like, I feel like the Harris Dickinson is more better than that one, because I don't think Jake Champion would make a good Cyclops. I don't. I do think Harris Dickinson would be. I think Harris Dickinson, he needs to get that movie that's going to get him into stardom. Because I think he's already a terrific actor. He's done a lot of small projects. The Kingsman, sure, he wasn't really in that movie, but he left an impression on me. I want him to kind of take his next step. I think what they're going for X-Men is definitely younger, with the rumors of Sadie Sink, possibly being cast as Jean Grey, and now Harris Dickinson being cast as Cyclops, and even, what we just talked about with Hunter Schafer being cast as Mystique. This is going to be kind of, I think, a younger X-Men, which I kind of like. My thing for the X-Men has been, you have kind of characters like Cyclops, Jean Grey, Iceman, kind of put those guys in a younger age group, with characters like Wolverine and Storm and even Beast, maybe have a bit older actors in there, because those are more experienced, characters, get some older actors in to play them. Because what I loved about my favorite animated show, the X-Men Evolution, is that you had a younger Cyclops in there, a younger Jean Grey, a younger Rogue in there, but you had an older Wolverine who was just kind of come in and help save the day. You had an older Henry McCoy, who was kind of like a teacher to these young X-Men. I think if they went that route, that would be a really interesting route to go on. Now, the also thing we need to talk about is, what do they do with movie-wise? Do they just do X-Men movies, or do they do solo movies? I've heard a lot of people, especially one of the guys I watched, John Campia, saying oh, there's not enough, lore or things to do for characters like Cyclops. Not enough to do a Jean Grey solo movie. Well, you could say the same about other characters. You could say the same about Iron Man, Captain America. It's oh, no one wants to see a solo movie of those guys. But we saw them and we love them. I think you can do solo movies for these X-Men movies. But it doesn't just be a billion, every single X-Men needs their own solo movie. You could have a Cyclops origin movie with Havoc in there. You could have Jean Grey in there as well. You could do a Jean Grey solo movie with Emma Frost. You could put other X-Men characters in these movies and have the X-Men movies be event films, like the Avengers movies. Imagine we're all sitting there and we're there for X-Men. We're oh my gosh, I can't wait. I already know Scott Summers. I'm already emotionally connected to Jean Grey, my characters, all these characters, and now I get to see them all come together for an X-Men film. I think that could work, and it's something very different from what you could do than what 20th Century Fox did. Because look at this. We didn't need a Deadpool solo movie. We didn't know we wanted that. None of us knew oh, Deadpool, I guess he's okay. You could have had Deadpool just appear in those Wolverine solo movies. But aren't you happy we got those Deadpool solo movies? Because they were great. I think X-Men has the opportunity. You have to introduce all these characters to the world, because in the 20th Century Fox X-Men, we never got to spend time with the X-Men. We were always spending time with Wolverine. We never really got to know Cyclops. We never really got to know Jean Grey. We never really got to know Storm. They were always just hanging around the X-Mansion. I would love to see some origin story movies for these characters, so we can be emotionally invested in these characters. Just how we're so emotionally invested in Steve Rogers, in Tony Stark, in Thor, in Natasha Romanoff, in Clint Barton. Characters who could all have starred in just do an Avengers movie and then that's it. But those movies gave us a chance to know those characters, to become emotionally attached to them, and I kind of want that for the same with the X-Men. But guys, that's going to be it for this episode of Let's Talk About It. What do you think about these rumors? So many of them coming out. I expect to hear some more X-Men rumors this week. I just think it's going to keep ramping up and up and up until they finally announce a freaking X-Men movie. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.